Good morning, Mr. Chinedu. Welcome. Happy new week and weekend.
Good morning, Brian. Thank you.
Okay,
We
welcome.
wish you soon.
Okay, so let's kick right off. Mr. George called that he will be passively joining soon. I think he's in a function. So the class already is being recorded for anyone to go through back. Okay, so this week, meanwhile, how was the past week? Any questions from the last week class that you want us to take care of now before going forward?
No, no, no.
Okay. Benjamin, were you able to go through the recorded class?
I will go through the class today.
Okay. You try as much as possible to make out time so you will flow with the class and not be lagging behind. So this week we are doing a recap on the week's work, which was on SOC, Security Operations Center. And this week we are in, at the end of the class, I think the next thing should be for the ISC2 examination preparation. So I believe that I don't, Mr. Chinedu, do you have the CC certification? This ISC2 certification, do you have it?
No.
Okay, so this coming week we'll start preparing for the exam. The exam isn't that much of a hurdle, but it's one that takes understanding and how do I put it? Understanding and thoughtfulness. It's not from home. It's not remote. You write it at a designated CBT
So,
center. Yes.
okay.
So it's gonna when you're registering, you use accurate details because that's the address they are going to use to find accredited platforms or CBT centers around your town or your neighborhood where you will go sit
Yes.
for the exam. It is purely they observe. The exam is to be observed with all the standards of external examination. So, so you go right, then you get the result the same day. Hopefully, and I believe that we're going to pass the exam in flying colors. It's going to be over 1,000. 700 is the pass mark. So you expected to make at least 70%.
Okay.
Yeah. So with that, you will get, you'll pass, then you'll be eligible for the CC certification, which in turn makes you a more valid member of the society, the ISC2 society. And also, just in case, if you do not pass, you'll get a receipt. You could always apply for a receipt. So a receipt costs $199. But just like I was telling the other batch, the company I work with, um, each one teach one tech, they just got what's it called partnership with ISCT ISC Square. So they just closed the partnership this week, which gives them the eligibility to give students vouchers for the examination. Okay, so meaning if you fail, I think you might be able to have a receipt without paying. I've not yet verified because it's this week that the news came that we just got a partnership with ISC2. I've not verified the status of someone who didn't pass receiving a new voucher from the partnership they sealed with them. But um, more information will be coming down soon. But just in case, if you didn't pass, it's not the end of the world. The most important thing I advocate for is the skills and knowing how the system works. You can always get the certification along the way, not just the CDs one, other ones ahead. Why we are starting with this is the lowest hanging fruit. At least everyone should get your hands on there. Yeah. So let's move on. Today's class might just be a bit short, so we could start the training on the ISC2. So the SOC material was prepared by Anang, the Indian tutor, and he shared it in a way that both the non-IT background applicants or learners will fit in. We know where they fit in. So the course goes into the explanatory of SOC, how it evolved, the people, the process, and the technologies, and also where the non-IT background, non-IT applicants or interested learners, where they'll fit in the whole system. So starting with where does SOC jobs fit in? On the entire job market, what we see out there is the outer layer. Now, behind the outer layer, there are inside layers that are functioning day to day to ensure that the business world keeps going on and keeps producing. So we'll find out that in the entire market, we'll have all the careers and all the businesses going on, even those that are captured online and those that are not captured online. There was an argument, it's not an argument actually, there was a discussion yesterday that small businesses who get into online probably get attacked by or hit by a cyber attack. Over 6 months' time, they tend to fold up because they don't have what it takes to, remediate and keep their businesses running. And also the solutions which they should use are either way too costly for them or they can't keep up with it. Both the human resources, etc. So, and that is the more reason why MSSPs are very important these days. Now, MSSPs will meet it down in this particular today. MSSPs provide security services remotely for businesses. So, where a business will say, we don't have the funding to keep our SOC or our security team in house, please do it for us. So, they outsource the services to an MSSP. MSSP stands for managed security service provider. So something like that. We'll meet it down there, so we'll know why it is very important. And I think that's about the only saving grace smaller businesses will have in recently, because the more security tools and security applications and resources, the higher they go, uh, the people that will suffer more is the smaller businesses. And research also let us know that smaller businesses are almost more in number than what's it called, the bigger businesses, and they make up, in some countries they make up to like 60% or 50% of their GDPR. So you can imagine that this particular part of the economy is left unguided or nobody cares about them. But it's all right. That is the more reason why uh, every learner is encouraged to join the force, do your own part, and secure the system. Because once you are doing so, somehow you're keeping yourself and your own economy and surroundings safe. So we could see from this diagram the entire job market is out there. Then inside the orange, that's where we'll find the information technology and the IT structures also behind the technology sphere. The guys that build the engine that powers the businesses. Few for people in Nigeria, few weeks ago now, some of our banks have been having issues. Not just issues. I believe it is software-related patches or upgrades which are going on. So if this information technology layer is faulty or found wanting, businesses will have a downtime, just like the banks do, because those are the things that powers operations, at least remotely, even when you want to do it physically to conduct businesses um, physically. So now, underneath the IT structure, the IT phase, we have the IT infrastructure. These guys are also silent heroes. They are the ones who are beneath what the information technology tools and sphere they work. These guys are beneath them. The system engineers, the network engineers, and more or less they work with database. And database and user informations are mostly what the entire job market needs to keep businesses going on. So you see, if you match all the processes, you find out that one is connected to the other and one is connected to the other. Moving down the lane also, you will now find the security, IT security part. It would have just ended here. The sphere and the illustration would have ended here, where you have the user provisioning, the IM, the endpoint security, vulnerability assessment, network security. So these guys, they were there when you call them, they will work. But with the advent of cyber crimes on the rise, which now gave birth to the last core, which is security operations. And that is where we are as of today, where we get the security analysts that use the SIM and the SAW and make use of threat intels to combat uh, cyber crimes. Okay, illustrations also went further to relate to point out that as a civil engineer or someone that is in a field, it is also nice for you to have a little bit idea of what the next person is doing. For example, if you're a doctor, you should at least know what the lab person is doing. You should at least have a little idea of what the cardiologist or every other facet of your organization that is doing, because all these intellect or all these fields, they all work together. The civil engineer has a bit of idea or even has an idea what the architect, the mason, the tile worker, the plumber, the electrician, the painter. That's how he's able to uh, interfuse with them and do a good job. So also is the SOC. The related fields for SOC are the system engineer, the IT infrastructure, and the IT security teams. These are the guys we will likely so much work directly in hand with when you are in SOC. Then those that are in GRC will extend towards the auditing and policies for the general business field on the out market there. So why SOC jobs are in demand? With all the explanations and everything going on, we will. It's no longer news that cyber crimes are going and hitting skyrocket. So with that event, even with the giving in on the what was the last outbreak, virus outbreak we had that ushered in the remote work. What's the name again? Uh,
Corona.
Corona. Yes, yes. With the Corona outbreak that ushered in remote work, it gave in a new era and also opened up so much gap for cyber crimes, because now people are expected to bring their own devices and they work from home remotely. And of course, the education and the awareness has not yet gotten to the point where everybody knows what to do in the cases of security events or incidents. So the need for more learners or more experts in the field arises also. So he also tried to explain that when you're trying out a career in cybersecurity, uh, normally, because of the way cybersecurity is designed, it has lots of fields in it. You see, someone was asking me this morning in one of the groups if I do a kind of penetration testing. So I told him not yet, but I will do. I will do that when I have my time. For now, I'm focused on SOC. Then on my own free time, I do offense. I try to get my hands into penetration and all those stuff. So having a focus on a particular field in cybersecurity, a particular section, helps or will help you to keep your focus organized, and at the end you come out a chip that is already fine tuned, then having other relevant skills along the way. So when you go into the cybersecurity domains, there are a lot of it: the physical security, the internal, the governance, etc. And it is enough to scare anyone away if you are not having a coordinated training curriculum. Also, people this recent age they use hacking to synonymize with cyber security, which is not entirely true. There is hacking in cybersecurity, but cybersecurity is not hacking. Okay. Then moving further to Security Operations Center proper. The domain, as of noted, started evolving to 2015, and as of which 63% of current jobs, if you go on LinkedIn now, you find out that majority of the jobs too you're going to be seeing both remote and in-house in Nigeria here will still lie around SOC, even if they bring you in on other fields or other sectors. They will still want you to perform a bit of SOC related activities, and as of which it still has a low barrier entry. And the new as of 2015, the certifications that were required was CompTIA SYSA Plus and CISA, certified the SOC analyst. As of 2024 today, CC, this ISC2 certificate is included or is permissive. Also, when you get to probably level 2, SOC level 1 or level 2, you might still look up for CISP for other certifications. That's why I said that the certifications is not really just the goal in cybersecurity, but to get a hand on the whole story, what is happening behind, and it's a long journey up which takes patience and focus. Okay, and how to get it is to be streamlined in one section. So he went ahead to explain the different IT teams in a company, and I believe we've all gone through this. Let me even ask, were you able to go through all this? Did you finish this within the week, Mr. Chinedu? Did you?
Repeat yourself, please.
Okay, so I meant I gave this. This was supposed to be our week classwork, like what we're going to do this week. Were you able to finish it?
Sorry, I didn't know. I didn't know.
Oh, oh. Sorry about that. Mr. George is on mute because he's partially with us here. Okay, the material was issued out at the end of the class, and it was supposed to what we are supposed to go through within the week. But it's all right. Let's.
Okay. Okay. So I've been looking out for it as from today.
It was already given within the week. So, but we're already doing the revision now, so we'll still gather
Yeah.
everything together.
Okay.
So, the different IT teams in a company, he listed out them, especially from the system, network, endpoint security team, network security, information security, security operations center, application development team, database team, the IT desk, and some of the tools or the scopes of work including the clouds, the virtualization, vulnerability assessment, and identity and access management. So these teams work hand in hand in relation to SOC. The first one is the system team stroke, the server team. They provision the work tools, install and maintain operation systems, configuring and managing the servers, and installing the necessary applications for employees. That is their job, and they get it done without. Part is the network team guys, which provision the networks, the connections that we have in and the network, computer networks our various businesses and our various setups. Where if you're at home during this training, you know how to set up a home lab. You know how to set up your own home lab. You have your laptop, you have your phone. I think that's enough to start the basic home lab. Because in your laptop, you will have to get to install VM. You're going to install a virtual machine, which will help you be able to run different operation systems and machines inside your own laptop. Now, also having your phone, maybe your phone, your anybody around you that is connected to your internet. Now, you might be able to afford or have a router at home, or you're using hotspots. However, it is once your network is connected and there are one or two devices connected in that network, you are good to go for basic practical skill knowledge on setting up networks, your network at home. So the network team, they plan and they design the network architecture, installing and maintaining the devices that are required to be efficient in the work. Endpoint security team, these guys, they protect endpoints in the network using machines, servers, user machines, servers, etc., while installing, configuring, and maintaining endpoint security solutions. And some of the examples of these endpoint security solutions are antivirus. Most of us are aware of antivirus, host firewall, host intrusion prevention systems, and EDRs, detection and response to data loss prevention, disk inscription. So these are and many more endpoint tools, endpoint detection and prevention tools that these guys do. Endpoint security team. Find out that the field is huge in such a way that even if you choose to do a part, you could stay in that part for long and get proficient before moving into the next one. If you're smart enough, you could accumulate as much as possible, but in a linear manner where it's going to be directly relatable to each other. So the network security team protecting the overall network, installing, configuring, and managing network security solutions. We have the firewalls, the intrusion prevention system, web gateway, email gateway, wireless security, and WAF, the web application firewalls. That's their own job. The info security team, this is one of my most desired. They conduct regular audits and draft security policies, conduct user awareness training, and adherence to regulatory compliance. That reminds me, in my SOC program this week, I think we were able to do a classwork on policy writing. We did a policy on the. Can I even remember? Yes, I should be able to remember. Do you mind if I share with you guys?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so let me open the drive. Drive. So we were exposed to how to write basic policies and give prompts to AI to generate it more for us. And we now have to go through it to see how it looks. Of course, there are steps and there are patterns to which it was being given. Policies, standards, and guidelines. Just a minute, let me bring it up. Password policy. We had the privacy policy, the password policy, and I'm going to share very soon. Okay, let me share password privacy. Okay, which one are we currently seeing? Which one is showing
It's password and
policy?
policy.
Yeah,
Yes.
could enlarge. Okay, 9. Okay, policy we have. Number one is the password overview statement. This password policy establishes the requirements for creating, managing, and protecting passwords for accessing each one Teach-One Tech's EdTech SaaS platform. Strong password hygiene is critical to safeguarding user accounts and preventing unauthorized access. So there is going to be an overview followed by a policy statement. All users are required to create strong, unique passwords and meet the following criteria. The whole criteria is needed for strong and unique password. Then the third one is accountability statement, which says that the SOC analysts and the IT administrators are responsible for enforcing the password policy. Any user found in violation of the password policy will be required to update their credentials immediately, and repeated violations may lead to access restrictions. Then additional standards to look up is the NIST SP 800-63B, which is the Digital Identity Guideline for Authentication, and CIS controls. Yeah, that reminds me. I got these CIS controls last 2 weeks, and I might be able to share it with us. Control 16 says account monitoring and control. So the CIS control is like the full meaning. What the full meaning of this CIS? Who knows the full meaning of CIS? What it means? CIS benchmarks. Any idea?
Mm.
Okay. So let me do a quick
No,
dive
sir.
in. I'm going to do a quick dive in into the CIS. Share this tab instead. So I already have the materials downloaded. Is like I want to get the full meaning first. Where is Google? CIS. Cybersecurity. So they are like benchmarks or baselines for critical security controls. That's the full meaning. Critical security
Center for
controls.
Internet
So is
Security.
it the CIS controls?
And Center
You
for
said
Internet Security. I think Center for Internet Security.
Center for Internet Security. Okay, the one I'm talking about is control frameworks. I think Center for Internet Control Security. Yes, yes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
and I think there's something I told you. Asked a question about qualis, right? Last week. So I
Yes.
had, yes,
Last
I
week.
had it. I had a sheet I prepared. I wanted to share with the whole team about uh, the relationship between Qualys and the SIM tools, where each one falls under. And it's quite interesting to find out that each of these tools have their strengths and where they function effectively. So please
Okay.
remind me, probably before the class runs out, let me share that with us too. And this one too, these frameworks, I'm going to share it with us too for
Yes.
um, you dig into it within the week and get to know. So where we came from is on the password privacy policy, password policy. Now this one is
Yes.
privacy policy that we wrote within the week also, which of course starts with the privacy overview statement, followed by the policy statement, and followed by accountability statement. Then lastly, okay, that's it, with additional standards that are that you will also need to look at. And in the password policy, that's where we found out that the CIS section of the security operation centers. All these are interconnected together and they are under InfoSec security team. guys, their work is to conduct regular audits, keep up with policies, drafting security policies. This exactly drafting security policies was exactly what we did, and I tried to show you some of the policies we drafted. As little as it is, uh, most organizations need it to keep themselves on check at least. Then also we have the adherence to regulatory compliances, then conduct user awareness and trainings. And all of them are under the governance, compliance, and risk infosec security team. So going down, we have the vulnerability assessment team. Now they use automated tools to scan the network to identify the vulnerabilities in applications and systems, where they analyze the reports and work with various teams for fixing the vulnerabilities etc found in applications. Okay, that's why most times you might wake up and you want to access your app, maybe your bank app, it will direct you back to Play Store to update. So during those updating, when these guys find any errors or bugs, they patch it up and push out the patch or update so users could uninstall the old ones by reinstalling a new version. Then the next team, we have the identity and access management team. These are the guys that provision access to users. They create and manage identities and access rights to people, employees, and customers. Okay, identity and access management to IAM. So when you forget your password, granting your assets, user account, they are the ones in charge of this particular role. Then we now have the Security Operations Center, which monitor, detect, investigate, and respond to cyber threats. And they work with SME of other teams to remediate the security incident. They use the SIM tools, the SOA, the threat intelligence, and analysis tools. Okay. Now, properly, all other fields would have just stayed alone and worked, but with the recent day, we found out that SOC has come in the middle of all this because all of them report down to monitoring, detecting, and securing the system. So going down to evolution of SOC, how it started, how we got to where we are. uh, Within the year 2008, 2010, Stuxnet was developed as the first cyber weapon, which was used to bring down Iran's nuclear power plant. So you see that is not a joke. Most times, when you see businesses or conglomerates or even nations being attacked in this age, most of the attack might be coming or will be coming in digital attacks. So you can imagine back in the year of 2008, how many years till now, a cyber weapon was used to bring down nuclear power plants of a whole nation. So now, if someone has seen it or seen the traces ahead, they would have somehow remediated or what's it called, mitigated the effects of the heat. But then there was no SOC. And the same fate was met with most of the big brands today. Sony had their own. In 2014, a hacker group which identified itself by the name Guardians of Peace leaked a release of confidential data from the film studio Sony Pictures. Okay. Yahoo also, I can remember there was a time when I was growing up, all I could think of was Yahoo Mail. Then it was of recent then, after Yahoo Mail, then I now found Gmail, then other people had to do Hotmail, etc. But you can imagine in 2012, hackers posted login credentials for more than 453,000 user accounts. And Yahoo later affirmed in October 2017 that all 3 billion of its users' accounts were impacted. And I think that's the biggest cyber attack uh, of the time, having 3 billion users affected. So Visa also got their own chips, Subway, Target, and many, many others. These are big names. So what happens? The smaller businesses that are not even captured or that will not be captured because of how small they are. Now the question now begs: who is now safe on the internet? Apparently, no one is safe except the one that is actively doing things to safeguard its environment. So, in the findings, it took 205 days for companies to detect an attack, and approximately 80 days before the attack went on, there were indications that the attack would happen. Okay, and 67% of the time, when the attacks happen, they are only detected by external entities because the business is busy, the organization is busy trying to make profit, trying to do their business. They don't have a team situated just to watch or to monitor uh, incidents. Even when they have some tools, those tools randomly do casual research, search, and they wouldn't always be there to verify when an attack wants to come. So he went down to explain it more graphically so we could understand how deep this thing went. Around January 20th, unnoticed indicators of compromise. So from January 20th, there were traces that something would want to happen. And it continued down till the attack taking place in April. You can imagine the gap. Then, when it took place, when the attack got executed, it took this long time from that April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, late November, before it was being noticed. Can you imagine? What do you have to say about this scenario? What comes to your mind? What possibly comes to your mind? Hello.
Yes.
Okay, so I think the people working for them are the SOC operators, like they are not much active because have they been very active or they have some softwares that can identify all these attacks, it would have been resolved at
Yeah.
the initial
Yeah. Yeah. So
time before the attack was. Um,
exactly. So Mr. Chinedu, you wanted to say something?
Okay. Yeah, he made a point there, but we can still look at it this way. Not only that the SOC people are not that
There was no sock then anyway.
so maybe the attack could come in form of although I didn't look at the attack to know how it came.
Mm-hmm.
So, but attack could come in form of social engineering,
Exactly.
which most of the staff who are not in the in the company staff in the company who are not the security people,
Yes.
most of them are likely fall into clicking on some of these links that
Yes.
the attackers send to their email.
Yes.
So that vulnerability could come in, or threat could come in so many ways to attack a company's um,
Infrastructure.
network
Yes.
infrastructure, yeah, critical infrastructure.
Yes.
So that's what I think.
Yeah. Thank you very much, guys. Your inputs are all valid. So now, following our story, now this is rating from year 2008 to 10 when SOC was, where we are now is we are talking of how SOC came in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who knows? Probably the security people have is not enough for a company. Who knows? Probably when the company doesn't even know that social engineering could take place even those that are even in the community. And most of these things, when they come in, they stay. They learn the system. They learn what your system is doing. They hide themselves. They clean up their tracks and start perpetrating their threats. So, and during these kind of processes, it's always very hard to notice these things, except there is a continuous monitoring going on. So, the root cause, of course, of all this is lack of visibility, because if there is a visible team or security infrastructure looking at monitoring, continuous monitoring, you definitely you will pick up some threats from these actions and actions to know how and where to remediate them. And that was what gave me in for the need for security monitoring. You know, so this now brought in what the SOC guys do. So what do we monitor? Logs. That's the only way computer talks and keeps record of what is going on happening through the networks that are happening through it. Logs, 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 logs. System servers, from the system servers, from the security solutions, from network devices, it keeps logs of what is happening. Just like what the demonstration I did yesterday with TCP dump and Wireshark on my own home network. Okay, I use SpectraNet, and when I'm accessing my SpectraNet router web domain application server, it's I found out that it was not operating under the protected protocol, which is HTTPS port 43. It was only going through port 80. How did I find out that? I searched, I did a network discovery to find out both the ports and everything that are open. Now, when I found out that it was open, that it didn't have HTTPS activated, normally for recent or more advanced routers, what I should have done was to just switch on the security, the secured ports. Okay, and I looked for it and I couldn't find it. The other alternative I had was to use a firewall to give instructions to block unsecured, what's it called, traffics from coming in. I tried it and the network started slowing down and I dropped it back. Now, when I now use Wireshark and TCP dump to capture what is happening under my network, um, hello, is anything happening? Am I offline? I think I'm offline. Hello? Oh, okay. I'm looking at it. My network is restarting, and I don't know why they do this when I'm having meeting. So what I was saying is that the logs that we that I monitored or that I searched through, I now have to go in deeper to look at it. Took it, went to ChatGPT, and gave it a prompt to organize this log for me. Tell me what are the vulnerabilities that are present in this log, and it cleaned it up for me, showed me, gave me a good document to present as a result of the analysis. And I found out that indeed what is going through my network is not encrypted and is not protected. And in such, if someone that is not trusted comes into my network, the person could attack me and take over the whole system, take over everything. So those are what we monitor logs. We monitor logs on these events. So now the challenge is, yes, I know I'm not sharing. The system is coming up. Now the challenge is logs are not easily readable. If you heard me correctly, I said I took a particular section of my log and took it to AI to read it for me and to fine tune it and bring out what my eyes can't see in a haste. So logs are not easy to read. Yes, you can read one or two or three of them, but when they come in volumes, For example, we have 300 logs coming in per second and in excess of 25 million logs per day. How many can you read? How many can you look through? Of course, that also brought a new challenge in the system. So I'm seeing 12 more minutes for this call to end. That means we are going to generate another link for to wrap up our session. Why don't we do it now so that we could just use the new link since this one is already going up and my sharing system is doing network restart. So come to the WhatsApp and take the second link so we could log in with it. Thank you. So this is the new challenge that we have now, which is the logs are not easy to read. Let me zoom it a little bit. So let's try reading this log. Can anyone try reading this? And if you can, you try to even make sense out of it. Okay, go ahead, Benjamin. Sorry, just just a minute. Just a minute.
It's not really important. But
This log, can you read it to make meaning out of it? Okay, let's go ahead then. Mr. Chinedu, what about you? Do you think you could read this log?
network or something.
No, no, I can't.
Okay, Benjamin, we didn't hear you properly. I think your network was breaking.
My network is really slow.
Yeah, sorry about that. So, um, this log is, let's read it literally. The first one, 111.111.111.111, is an address. Let's say this address on the 8th of January 2020. And of course, you know, address is to be the what's it called traced to either a device or short a device on the internet. So this particular device with this address on the 8th of January 2020, 17 minutes after 11, that's under 55 seconds, 0400, try to get something on this with this protocol HTTP 111.200.10.80. It accessed this website google.com and it searched for log analyzer. This log plus analyzer is a way that Google can concatenate or join statements together. They use plus sign to join statements together instead of using space. When we are typing, we will type in space, but Google they use, or most programming languages, they use plus sign to concatenate sentences. So this person searched for Go log analyzer and is using a Mozilla Firefox Windows. Sorry, a Mozilla Firefox browser and has a Windows NT 5.2. Okay, Mozilla Firefox. So this is the information we have on this log. And if you look very well, there are good informations we found there. First, we found out his address, his network address. We found out where he went to Google, what he's looking for. We also found out the kind of browser he's using and also the type of OS operating system he's using. So this is a great information. And even though that time is not our friend, I would have loved to check this his address on Virus Total to know if this person is a good person or a bad person. And if uh, if you think we should do it, we could just do that quickly. Take this his address and push it in IP address finder to know more about this person, whether this person has any track record of bad things or not. So what do you guys think?
Okay, let's go ahead.
Should we search him out?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, we can search him out.
Oh, okay, let's do that quickly. So cram this address. So when I switch to the new place, you will let me know it. We are sharing this tab now. Okay, and I'm searching for virus total. Virus total, I think, is an open source platform that helps us to find out more information on IP address. We also have MX tools, which is also open source. There, it's open to the public. It's coming up. Okay. Come up, come up, come up, come up, come up, come up. Let's have it. So when we look at his IP address, we will know what kind of person this person has been in the internet. There are some IP addresses when you look them up, they have good scores. There are some when you look them up, they have bad scores. They've had multiple counts of stuffs that they've done in the past. So uh, it is up now. Let me have the IP address. What is his address? Can someone help me out with it?
111.111.111.111.
Okay. Then we hit the enter. What's happening? I hope my network is not behaving funny again today. Okay, I think it's going. Let's see. The result is going to bring out for this particular address. Okay, looks like our guy has been a bad boy. So what's the score, guys?
Yeah, like being a bad person, based on based on the what the scanner says.
Yes. And look at his location. Look at where he's hailing from. Japan.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I have they say 1/94 security vendor flagged this IP address as malicious. Very, very malicious. Going down, we could see SOC radar malware. Alpha Mountain AI is suspicious. So all the whole incidents or whatever stuffs that he's guilty of, they will list them down here. But we'll go to details. We'll get more information about a little information more about him. His continent, Asia, his country, Japan, regional internet registry, his network. He's operating, I think this is a Class B network. Yeah. Class B network. We have the first two octaves occupied, relieving two only. So if we go down again, we'll still get some more information. But generally, we could see that this person is a bad person. So let's check Google's own. Who knows Google's IP address? Tools for fighting or securing their their town. Now, in all these fight arrangements, there is a guy that is always here. You can relate, right? In all those movies, he will be on the tower and he will have the
Yes, yes.
the bell or something to watch from far. What is his work? His work is to monitor for possible attack from far and alert the army. The purpose is for early detection of a possible enemy attack and to reduce the impact or damages of this attack. So this guy is very, very important in security of securing the kingdom. And this is exactly what the SOC does. So if you take away the SOC from the system, there will be great loss and great shock and great damages happening in the system. So this is exactly the work of a SOC guy to monitor and to detect and to alert the rest of the team. So that's the explanation here. That's exactly what it is. So the endpoint security team guys, they make use of the antivirus, HIPS, host firewall, application control, EDR, DLLP. The network security guys, they make use of the firewall also, intrusion prevention systems, email gateway, web gateways, WAF, anti denial distributor. What's it called? What is DDoS? Have anyone come across DDoS before? Now, DOS is a distribution denial of service, right? Hello.
Yes.
Yes. So
Hello?
yeah, they use anti DDoS to ensure that to work. Also, the wireless access control. So the vulnerability assessment team they use vulnerability assessment scanners and the IAM guys. They okay. Benjamin, you're raising up your hand. Go ahead.
So what this DBS, what does it mean?
Okay, DDoS is a kind of attack where the attacker overloads your system with requests so that your system will go, your network or your service will go down. It can't serve. So you can imagine if your system is meant to serve 100 persons in an hour, or you can respond to 100 requests in an hour. So the attacker sends in 2 million requests in 5 minutes. What do you think will happen?
It's not able to respond from it.
Yes, it will most possibly crash. The system will most possibly crash. So the full meaning of DDoS should be a distributed denial of service. So
Okay.
it's a kind of attack. Okay, so down you'll find the SOC guys. They use the SIM tools and the SOA and the threat intelligence and the threat hunting. So what is SOC? Just like we've already established that SOC is the first line of defense. They are the eyes and the ears of the organization's security. And what do? They monitor, detect, investigate, and respond to cyber threats. Okay. Now, in the course of this program, by the end of the program, you will already decide or know within yourself which aspect you want to go through. Of course, By the end of the training, we will be doing just a minute. Sorry about that. I usually don't have visitors on Saturdays in the office. So let's go ahead. So the SOC team, of course, we've already seen that they monitor alerts for SIM and with SIM from SIM, and they analyze the attack and they decide if it is false positive or uh, a threat. False positive is if something seems true, like for example, someone logs in and tries to log into the account and forgets the password, maybe tries 2 times or 3 times before he now gets it. So now, when he's trying and he's not getting it, it will raise an alarm, and that alarm will come in and will start. You have to check it to know whether it's truly an incident or probably someone that lost someone trying to get access to his own system. Now, if you now what's it called, do some little digging and find out that okay, it is the rightful person, then there's no need of attack. What's it called, taking down the threats or following down the alert. But if it is bad, then you follow it down. Sometimes you block the person that is trying to. The system is designed to block the person that is attacking or whatever. So they will decide if it is legitimate or bad. If it is legitimate, then you move on. If it's bad, you report it to the authorities and you help them by stopping the bad activity. So that's basically what the SOC does. So what I was trying to say is, by the time we are done with the practicals, the guys that are doing the practicals, you will know where your flair is, where your desire is. Even though you might, some people change their desires when they come into the program. Why some? Okay, they now get more reasons to go through the places where they want to go through. For example, if your interest is in the offense, which is in the red team, penetration, etc., then after the training, after the practicals, you will have more reasons to, or more direction to fire down on which aspect you want to go on. Some people that might want to be on the blue team defense, that want to work as SOC analyst or level 1, level 2, they will also make that decision freely without having a doubt, at least having good basic understanding of where they're coming from and where they're going to. So I'm going to speed up the remaining part of the program, the remaining part of today's presentation, because it is just solely on the job roles of the SOC guys. We have the people, the process, and the technology, like we already said. The roles in the SOC is starting from the first one, the security analyst level 1, going up to level 2, level 3. You have the SOC manager, and also, beside them, you could still have the threat intelligence, threat hunter, incident handler, forensic investigator, IR automation engineer, and red team specialist. Now, even if you want to be on the offense as a penetration tester, you could still work. You can still work in the SOC. So, is SOC is a family that takes in. Sorry. So within the week, I will expect us to just look up these roles, look at what they do. For example, the SOC analyst is level one. What it does is it has 247 eyes on the system, analyzing triggered alerts, raising tickets for validated incidents, etc. Okay. So look up the roles, and after the roles, the next thing is the next thing should be the SOC technologies, which we already talked about some of. Threat intelligence is like World Health Organization, so where they disseminate news about incidents and things that are about to happen. So there are places, there are organizations that their work is to, dig down deep. Just like the World Health Organization will alert us of incoming viruses. So these are places where they go for correct intels on what is happening in the cyber world. So the material, this material is available on PDF, but the link that you guys had within the week is a video. So whichever you prefer, you could make use of it to, summarize this particular training for SOC. So here is an example of suspicious activity, failed authentication or failed login. And brute force, this person is trying to log in 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times under 1 minute. If you're in SOC, you already know that something bad is about to happen. So automatically some systems are wired to log off probably after the fourth trial. Have you had such experience recently, maybe with your bank app or with any application, where you try, maybe you forgot the password and you try to log in few times and you are logged off? Benjamin
Yeah,
wants to say,
it happens.
yes, it does happen. So,
No, no, no.
okay. So, still explanation on the same explanation we've already done. The threat intelligence I was telling you guys, the cyber threat intelligence is information about threats and threat actors that help mitigate harmful events in cyberspace. Bad guys are always ahead of good guys. There will always be new types of attacks which will take some time to tackle or mitigate. So such type of attacks for which we do not have any protection are called 0 days, 0 day threats. So 0 day threat is like an attack that it has not happened before. Nobody has any solution about it. So it's going to be is new, it's fresh. Now, it's called those kind of attacks are called or threats are called 0 day threats. And what the threat intelligence organizations will always give us intels on such kind of threats that come up and give us the ways to mitigate them. So some of the sources of intelligence as of today, I know more has evolved even after this documentation. And the ones that are free in the open source market, we have the abuse.ch, the OSN, the threat feed, Autoshon, malwaredomainlist.com, then commercial threats intelligence, the ones that are actually on premium based, IBM X-Force Exchange, anomaly threats, etc. So these TIs provides the artifacts involved in a cyber attack. So please do well to wrap up this particular material. We are almost done with it. I think 80%. Benjamin, yes. Let me hear you. You raised up your hand.
No, it was my network. I'm struggling with my
Oh,
network.
okay. Sorry about that. So
Thank you.
analysis tools. A security analyst has to analyze the alerts triggered in the same solution. Okay, just like we've already said, and some of the analysis tools we have is Virus Total. We just use Virus Total now, right? To
Yes, yes,
analyze
yes.
uh, a log. Then we have IP Void, we have IBM X Force, we have Sysmon, we have AutoRun. Yeah. Do you know who knows what AutoRun is? Mr. Chinedu, are you still with us? Hello, Mr. Chinedu.
Yes.
Sorry, I just wanted to know if you're still with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last class we had last week, George was sleeping on the class. Uh, I just remembered it. So, who knows what AutoRun does? AutoRun. Okay, analysis tools, Process Explorer, Wireshark. I used Wireshark this week. I also used Shodan. Shodan also is used for detecting live devices on the internet. So these are tools. Then SOA means security orchestration, automation, and response. Security orchestration, automation, and response. So SOA is a software solution that enables security teams to integrate and coordinate separate security tools, automating repetitive tasks and streamlining incident and threat response workflows. So this is what SOA is, which is security orchestration, automation, and response. Now, this is an illustration of how it works. The same sends alerts to this tool which automates and does so many things. Then it passes through the firewall, the antivirus, the Active Directory, vulnerability scanner. All this happens. So there should be a two-way integration between the SOAR and other solutions. Read up SOAR as a particular topic on its own, but those are some of the tools or the processes or technologies that are used in SOAR. Just like we've seen what some of the same tools, read up SOAR too. Now, the last model of this particular class today is on SOC models, which I was telling you guys. There are three types of models: in-house, outsourced, and hybrid. So, in-house is where an organization says they have the team that could do the SOC job in-house. If they don't have the team, they can outsource it. When they associate that the company doing it is an MSSP, Managed Service Security Provider. I think so. And hybrid is where you run both outsourced and in-house. Okay. So, and the deciding factors for organizations happens to be budget. Budget can decide whether they outsource or whether they do in-house or whether they do hybrid. Also, experience of running SOC. And finally, the talent or skill available will determine which of the SOC types or models they are going to choose. So let me ask, for small organizations, which do you think will be preferable for them
You can do in-house.
in-house? Okay. Any other idea? Any other what's it called? Alternative answer? Okay. Let's do a little analysis now. If you have one SOC analyst, of course, let's say we are three of us. A SOC analyst should do monitoring, should do detection, then responding to incidents. Okay? Do you think one person
Okay.
can do the three jobs at the same time?
Definitely. It will be too much for him.
Yes.
It will be
So
too much on the guy.
yes, monitoring has to do. There are people that just stay and they monitor the system, and they accompany it with raising tickets, etc. on what is happening. So once they use the detection tools and detect, they raise it up to responders. Responders, there are still levels of responses because in a formal SOC environment, the level one and level two, when they raise tickets, the level two will respond to those tickets from level to level, probably in progress, from in progress, check what he has to revert back to evidence.
Evidence.
Yes. So when you are raising your ticket, after penning down the things that you see, you still pick up evidence, physical evidence, like you take screenshots of recorded events or stuff that happen. Now, when you raise that ticket and send it, the next level two person above you to respond it will have to go and verify what you saw. So he has to go back to where you saw it and verify it. Once he ascertains that it's a valid um, alert, then he changed the ticket from uh, uh, to change it level, either to put it in the review or pending or done, depending on when he is done. So after his own session, he will now populate it more with more information and send it down to someone that will close the ticket, probably the manager ahead of them or SOC level 3 manager. So tickets go through like 3 or 4 stages before they are closed. Now that was why I was asking if one person would be able to do all these things at the same time. And you can imagine having to pay 3 persons or 2 persons. Of course, their salary will not be small salary. Now, small organizations or small businesses are already overlodged with the burden of trying to stay profitable in the market, their marketing and their business addresses. So, from my own perspective, I would think they should look out for outsourcing some of, like outsourcing these security operations in their organization. Let them outsource it. Because I know some managed SSC, some MSSP who could do all this for them with maybe, let's say, $50 a month or even less, depending on where the country or the continent you are in. So it's just like insurance, yeah, saying that you want to keep, even though insurance is good, some people keep use their accountants as both their insurance person to be looking up of those stuff. So depending on the budget of the small company, they might choose to outsource it. Then if they start growing, or even most times they can even train their in-house staffs, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 people that their jobs are on the lesser parts, train them up in security operations, and they will add it up to their shift jobs. You understand? So those kind of arrangements too are still possible and advised. So I think that's the end of today's class. The next class should be for this week. When you go through this SOC again, if you have need to go through it, you will now start preparing for your ICT training. So at the end of this class now, along with the link of this record shared in the folder, you also get uh, ISE2 registration guide, how to go about to register for it. It's free of charge, but you have to follow the steps religiously to ensure you get yourself to the training page. And of course, when you have challenges trying to do that, you could always reach out to me online on the group and I will respond to you. So, any other thing? Are we forgetting any other thing? Are we forgetting any other thing?
The police analysis thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let me drop it openly on the group
That's
then,
okay, good.
so that every other person could take good use of it. Then also, I will see whether to drop the CISC. What's that again? I don't know why I forget this acronym. Center for Information Security.
CIS, yes.
Yeah, I'll also drop it there, the group, for anyone who is interested to go through and look at all the security records there. So thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate your being here and active. Let's see within the week and have a very wonderful weekend ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Thank you. Yeah.
Uh,